Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series. My name is Jody Maley, and I've been an entrepreneur and business owner for over 27 years now. Thanks for joining the podcast, and I can't wait to share with you tips and ideas on how to grow your heart-centered entrepreneur business. As a personality dimensions coach, I help entrepreneurs discover who they are at their core so they can have real and authentic sales conversations with their ideal clients. We all started or joined a business so that we can make an income on our terms. Whether you're just starting out in your entrepreneur journey or have been in sales for a while, the key to any business is sales and nurturing the sales relationship. So I invite you to sit back, relax, maybe even have your favorite drink and take some notes as we have fun delving in to learn more from the top 1% to 2% income earners who are making such a difference and impact for themselves and their beautiful teams. Their tips and ideas will uplift and inspire you in a heart-centered, authentic way to help lift you up, move you forwards towards your perfect dream and goal. So stay tuned to the end of each podcast as I will share a little gift from me that I know will get you inspired in your beautiful business. How to create 2.2 million in 18 months and how I did it. So I'm going to share with you the tips on how I did it in today's pocket coaching. And no, this does not go live into Facebook, so I'll make sure that that goes in after I do the pocket coaching for today. But it is going live into LinkedIn. So yay. So today I'm going to be sharing with you pocket coaching on how I did $2.2 million in 18 months in a job that was actually quite challenging for me. And I'm going to be sharing that with you today. Hello, my name is Jody Maley with the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series and today's pocket coaching, which I'm going to be sharing you tips and ideas that you can actually use today and use into your beautiful business as a heart-centered entrepreneur. So first, let me give you a little bit of a background here and the story around how this happened. I actually didn't know at the time that I had made this kind of impact in my business at the time. I was working let's give a bit of a background. For 28 years, I've been an entrepreneur. I've owned my own businesses. I've been part of marketing companies, network marketing companies, and several years into a network marketing company, my sister-in-law said, hey, you should use personality dimensions as a tool to help you with your leadership team. And I thought, oh, that's great. I'll use this as a tool. And in that year in my business, I was 7 years into a network marketing company. I discovered this great tool. I used it in that year, and my business in personal sales and team sales increased by 148%. I stayed with that company for another 2 years, and I continue to use that tool in other companies. I trained other people, teams, and other things. As I also decided, wow, I wonder if this tool and what I've learned to teach other leaders and companies and different businesses would also work with brick and mortar companies. And in the meantime, in my personal life, I went through a divorce, met my new spouse. We had 2 children together. So we're also a blended family of 6 children, 2 his, 2 mine, and 2 together. And it was at this time in our life journey that my husband had decided to go back to school. And so our 4 older kids were at this time either with other parents or finishing their graduated, and our children were younger. And my husband decided to go back to school. And so I became the sole income earner of our family, and I decided to work in a company that sold furniture. So I thought, why not? And in this company, it was actually 100% commissions. And I had sold furniture, gym memberships, jewelry, that kind of things in other companies where like in, like a local furniture store and stuff. But this was like a bigger company, and they're all across Canada. And so when I joined in with this company, my husband, like I said, was going to school. And so I was the sole income earner for our family while he was going to school. And it was 100% commissions. But I thought I will use the same strategies that I'm going to actually share with you today and teach you really, really quickly some of the same things that I did. Now, up till then, I had worked primarily with women. I had been coaching. I had been, my own business owner. I had already been with some companies where I was like a regional manager, regional vice president with companies. So this was a little bit different for me. But I wanted to know, especially with using personality dimensions, if the same strategies and sales techniques that I was actually coaching and training people would work as well in this format of people coming into a business, seeing furniture, buying furniture, and if this would work the same way. So I kind of had a goal that way. So I wanted to test it and try it out. Now, the downside of doing this was, like I said, 100% commission, but I was pretty solid in my own sales skills and working with other people. I wasn't too worried about that. However, I wasn't used to working with a group of men. I'll be quite honest. And actually, after I left that job, I actually needed therapy. I'll also be honest about that. And so I wasn't used to working with men. I wasn't used to that whole, I worked and led a lot of teams that women worked together. And so I also wasn't used to this 100% commission base either. Different kind of structure. And so there were a lot of days that were a big struggle for me. So here's some of the techniques that I am going to talk about here today on how I didn't actually know within that company that I was one of the top salespeople within Canada because nobody told me. Again, I was working with a lot of men and they didn't actually want to tell me how well I was doing. Did not know that. Oh, there goes my dog. I'm going to leave you in here. And so what I did in that is that I really had to put, so here's number one. Just give me a second here. And while we're doing this, my team is going to take out my dog barking out of the background when they record this for later. Don't we just love dogs and working from home? All right. So the number one thing that I did is that I had to remove the negativity of people that I worked with. Okay. When you have big goals and things, you need to be centered. Okay. So every day was a new day. So that was step number one. I literally had to reset. And you know what? I'm going to go close my door. So every day I had to hit the reset button. Literally. I had to reset my mindset every single day. So that's step number one. If you are in an environment where you are facing daily negativity, no matter what it is, reset the button if you have to. Okay. So that was the first thing, was block out all the negativity with coworkers that I had. And then step number two that I did to have the clarity to do this work was focus on the why I was there. We needed, obviously, I'm the sole income earner. This wasn't just a secondary job that I was taking, that my husband was the income earner and I was like a secondary fun income. This was our primary income. So what I was doing was covering 100% all the bills and putting my husband through school. He was going back to school to become an engineer. Okay, big work in the world. And so I needed to cover all the bills. And by the way, I kicked butt. I actually made more in those couple of years than mill workers make. And if you're in a logging town up here in Canada and you work in a mill, you know, mill workers make 100,000 plus in a year. I made more. Okay, so I'm very, very good at what I do. So those are the first two steps: removing negativity and hitting the reset button every single day. And number two, being really, really clear on my why. My why was my family. Then number three was also, who was I serving? So every day I'd hit the reset button. I became clear on who, my family, and then who was I serving that day? And I knew to reach my income goals, to put food on our table, to cover all the stuff, and even to have extra for the fun stuff, all I needed to do was serve 3 families that day to meet their needs. That's it. 3 families walking through the furniture store in that day is all I needed to do. Bonus if I'd actually serve 5 to 10. Woohoo! Right? So those were my goals. And I did that every single day. And I did it well. So then what I also did is that I developed my own follow-up system. Number 4. So 4 things that I did every day. And I brought with me a little black book. And they didn't actually have, for as big of a company that was. And I found out later they actually had it on a computer system, but nobody showed that to me because the other salespeople kind of kept that all under wraps to themselves, and nobody wanted me. I don't know why, but they didn't actually show me those cool things. But I had my own little black book that I would bring around with me. Now we're in a small community, and so there were other things that I did too. And this is part of knowing your customer, your ideal client really well. And this is where I brought into my world, and you can too, where I mentioned at the beginning that my sister-in-law had introduced to me the tool that I use, which was personality dimensions. And I wanted to know if this tool would work the same whether I was in front of a group of ladies doing a home party, whether I was teaching this to a leadership team, whether I was going in with coaching clients in leadership development teams, and whether this would work in brick and mortar, right? Now, I knew that this was paying the bills. I knew that this was stressful on my mental, and luckily for us in this location, they actually closed this furniture store, and it wasn't big, whatever. It was a leasing issue. And the furniture company that was nationwide decided in this location, they had opened up, they actually did 2 brand new stores that were an hour both directions. And so they decided to close down this location. And so I thought, thank you. First time in my life, by the way, that I ever qualified for unemployment insurance, and woohoo, I took it. All right. And it wasn't until I had left this position, and obviously, like I said, it took a mental strain on me. I did the work that needed to be done. My husband got through school. I made some kick-ass money. We all lived. We survived. But it was a couple of years after that I was doing training. I had got invited in for a $1 Million Woman mentorship where they asked me to be the sales trainer. And man, my psyche took a turn after that job. And I felt like I didn't deserve to be there to be the trainer. And I was trying to politely decline it. And the lady who said to me, no, I think you need to be here. We need to learn from you. And I'm like, I don't think I deserve to be here. I was trying to back out of it. And she's like, well, let's talk about this. And so she got on a call with me, and we were talking about it. We were talking about this last, I thought it was a failure job, right? Because I felt so down in the dumps. I felt like, this was a most horrible experience for me. And then she said, let's talk about this a little bit. And so she asked me what my monthly, what I had done in sales. Like, what was the good that came out of this? And I'm like, well, I did this, this, and this. And she goes, how long were you there with that company? I'm like, well, I was there 18 months. And she goes, and what type of things did you, whatever? So I told her. And then she did some research and she read between the lines of what I was telling her and some of the other conversations that had come up. And she goes, do you mean to tell me, because management had actually come in several times while I worked there to watch me? I didn't know this because I was so focused on trying to stay away from the negativity of my coworkers and just do my job and serve the people that I was serving, right? Didn't realize this. And I had gotten some emails that were saying like, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And I was just ignoring it because I just needed to do the work to be done. And she goes, so she's adding up stuff. And she goes, do you realize that in 18 months of working for what you considered one of your crappiest jobs ever, you actually made $2.2 million in sales? And I was like, what? So we added it up. What did you do this month? And of course, I mean, I have it all up here, right? I'm like, well, I did this in sales. I did this. And so we added it all up and I was shocked. I was like, what? It was crazy. And then she goes, what did you do? Like, we want to know. And so she had me come in to this select group of millionaire women and teach this. And I was like, what the heck? This is crazy that I'm going in and actually teaching this to people. How I did in a retail business $2.2 million of sales in 18 months. And that people paid to be there to learn this. And so if you're struggling with sales, if you're struggling with conversations that kind of feel icky, and everybody's like, what did you do? How did you do it? Whatever. And again, what I just shared with you, those 4 things is what I did. I removed negativity from the other salespeople daily out of my focus because I had to reset that button every single day. I focused on my why, which was my family, right? They were my why. And then I focused on who I was serving every day, the 4 to 5 families that I knew would be coming in. And I used the personality dimensions, the tool I know how to serve people. And when people would come in, I would literally use this tool that I can show you guys. This, you can learn to do this, by the way. Anyone can learn to do this. I've been doing this now for 20 plus years. You can learn to do this. And when people would come in, I would quickly discern what personality color they were quickly, very, very quickly. And I would serve them in the way they would want to be served. Super easy. And then number 4, I had my little black book and I would follow up with them and ask for referrals once I gave them good service. That was it. 4 things. And this is what I teach and train consistently today. So if any of this resonates with you, and if you have been struggling with any of these things, maybe you've been struggling with mindset, negativity, can help you with that. Maybe you've been struggling with a little bit of your why, and you don't know what your values are. Guess what? I can help you with that too. Maybe you've been struggling with your ideal client's language and identifying who they are, how you can serve them. I can help you with that too. And maybe you're struggling with the follow-up. Maybe you have no systems in place. Because all of these things in place can help you. And this is what makes an ideal sales conversation. It really is about setting things up in place. And people say relationship building is dead. I don't agree with that. For 28 years, I've been relationship building. In fact, I love it. And for 28 years, relationship building is still going to be the number one thing. Whether you're relationship building through written word or in person, on Zoom, online, offline, guess what? People still matter. So if any of this resonates with you, I want to learn more about you and your beautiful business. And you can use this model that I've just been teaching and coaching you today in today's episode of Pocket Coaching, how I did 2.2 million in 18 months, and I didn't even realize I did it. So if I can do this, you can do this too, and I'd love to show you how. And if it resonates with you, let's get together. I'd love to learn about you and your beautiful business. Schedule a strategy call below. Let's just have a chat. Let's get to know you. So this is Jody Maley today with the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series and today's Pocket Coaching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer. Bye for now. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned a lot. Each one of my guests have a special and unique spot in my heart as they have shared what they love about their business and how they truly have grown in their entrepreneur journey. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I would love to gift to you a fun and easy quiz that you can take right now that will help you assess how you feel about the sales process in your beautiful business. Building relationships, lifting each other up so we can all gain more in our lives and our business is what is truly important to me. And my hope is that in some small way, I've been able to do that for you today. So again, this is Jody Maley with the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series here in beautiful BC, Canada. Truly have a great and inspired rest of your day. The link to the quiz will be attached below. And please like, follow, and share this podcast if it inspired you.